Let me tell you a story. There was once a planet where only land dwellers lived. One land critter thought that in order to fly, a creature must have wings. But another creature said that this was impossible because they would be too heavy. Because according to his knowledge, all land dwellers are heavy, so all creatures must be heavy. Little did they know on Earth, birds can fly because they have light-weighted bones. So this is why we had to keep an open mind. So if I'm wrong in this video, please correct me. A shout out to Aprox for allowing me to think twice about my balloon and helicopter phantom ideas. This was the most interesting comment on my last video, but I'm the type who takes an eye for an eye and an argument for an argument. All jokes aside, I really do appreciate it when people allow me to reconsider my ideas. We're all prone to reasoning errors. I am as well. But at the end of the day, it's logic that matters, not who is right or wrong. The first argument against the balloon phantom theory is that hydrogen in its purest form is inflammable and phantoms have sparks around them. Actually, hydrogen is only flammable when it comes in contact with oxygen. So hydrogen in its purest form is not at all inflammable. It also says phantoms are too heavy to be lifted. Let's do some calculations, shall we? Hydrogen can lift 107% of what helium can lift, which is not much different, so we will only be working with helium. Each cubic foot of helium can lift 700 pounds. This means that 1 cubic foot of helium can lift the weight of a waxwing bird. Hence, a balloon phantom's air bladder must take up the majority of the phantom's volume, where the skin of the phantom is the surface area. But the beauty of this is that as phantoms get larger, the ratio of volume increases as the ratio of surface area decreases. As phantoms get larger, it will be able to have a thicker outer layer surrounding the bladder. As I have stated before, phantoms must be very light in order for this to work, and I'm not completely confident about this idea. However, we still need to keep an open mind. We know that metals are heavy, but there's a metal out there called the microlattice, which is as strong as titanium and 100 times lighter than styrofoam. It can harmlessly sit on top of a dandelion. Perhaps living things can be made out of surprisingly light materials as well, but I simply don't know it yet. A similar idea may be that phantoms can convert gases in the atmosphere into lighter gases. Using its electric power, a phantom would be able to separate a dense gas into lighter gases by passing an electric charge and using one separated gas to move up while releasing the other. But the problem with this is that this would not work on Earth because it doesn't have a bunch of gas layers. But we would have to know that Jamai is not Earth. However, if it is too similar to Earth, it may not work. On a planet with such gas layers, other gases other than hydrogen and helium can be used as lifting gases, so phantoms may be able to fly this way on a different planet. The argument against the helicopter phantom theory is that phantoms would need extremely heavy striated muscles to spin as fast as helicopters, making it heavy for the creature to fly. Extremely dense muscles are actually not necessary at all for a phantom to spin fast. The gonadactylus mantis shrimp has muscles built in a way similar to a spring and latch, allowing its appendages to move with the force of a bullet, packing a force of 1500 newtons. What if we convert the punching force to pushing force? I did some calculations for a phantom of mass 300 grams with a body of 2 centimeters with a radius of 7 centimeters when fully extended. If we assume a phantom is built like a mantis shrimp, a phantom can reach 584 RPM just in half of a millisecond and 1169 RPM in a millisecond if we assume the legs are heavy, and greater RPM if the legs are lighter. Phantoms can probably reach a much higher RPM than this because the mantis shrimp can probably generate more force on land than in water. Full-size helicopters spin anywhere between 250 to 600 RPM. We have more than enough force for a phantom to spin fast enough, so muscle strength is not at all a problem. Also, muscle velocity is proportional to muscle fiber length, so this would work for different sizes of phantoms. Aprox also proposed the idea of superconductors, which is interesting. However, there are problems with it. Superconductors are cooled to negative 240 Celsius, which is not a temperature naturally suited for living things. The tardigrade is the toughest animal known so far, and it can only live for a few days at temperatures of negative 200 Celsius. Superconductors also must be locked onto a magnetic track, and phantoms are not locked onto magnetic tracks. And also, strong magnets and superconductors are naturally non-living things. However, I am still up to keeping an open mind if there's convincing support. Another less likely idea I just thought about that is somewhat related to the magnet theme may be diamagnetic levitation, where two giant powerful magnets are placed around a living organism to make it levitate. But this is unlikely to be true because obviously we can't have two extremely powerful magnets following a phantom everywhere it goes. Another idea of how phantoms may be able to fly is the concept of diametric drive, where negative mass can be used, but this idea is hypothetical in itself. So to conclude, all of these ideas are probably slightly flawed and will not work perfectly. If you have counter-arguments or other ideas, I'd be curious to read about them down in the comments below.